Hi, and welcome to Northwest Book Talk, the show that explores the stories behind the stories, connecting authors, readers, and the literary community of the Pacific Northwest. I'm your host, Patty Grasher. This episode is part of our live event series where we talk with authors and organizers who bring books to life through in person events, festivals, and creative community gatherings. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Ellie Alexander, a best-selling cozy mystery author and the founder of the Ashland Mystery Fest in Ashland, Oregon. That's a celebration of crime fiction, community, and creativity. Now, in its third year, I guess that's just over, right? So, going into your fourth year, going forward, the festival will draw readers, writers, and mystery lovers to one of the most charming towns in the Pacific Northwest. So, we'll talk about how Ellie turned her love of storytelling into a regional literary destination, what goes into planning a multi day festival, and how authors can use events like this to build visibility and connect with readers in real life. So, welcome, Ellie, to the program.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for having me.
So, for listeners who might not know, can you tell us what inspired you to start the Ashland Mystery Fest?
Yes, of course. So, my long running mystery series, the Bake Shop Mysteries, are set in Ashland. And the 21st book in that series just published earlier this summer. And one of the great delights with writing a long running series like this is that over the years, I've had so many readers reach out and say, I'm coming to Ashland for the first time because I'm inspired to see the places that are real and maybe, slightly fictionalized from your books. And I kept getting so many DMs and emails and messages from readers asking for an itinerary that I happened to be just having a casual conversation with the owner of Station, which is this lovely boutique store in Ashland. And I said this very thing. I said, wouldn't it be fun at some point to have maybe a mystery tour where readers come and I'll take them on tour of all of the places in town? And she was like, well, let's turn it into a festival. And she literally grabbed my arm and dragged me across the street to Travel Ashland and the chamber, and we had a meeting, and then it just really snowballed from there.
That is amazing. So, what was the first event like in attendance, and how has it grown over time?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, really, the idea was to bring readers in because anyone who's unfamiliar with Ashland, it really is the quintessential cozy village in Southern Oregon. You feel like you're stepping into a village in the English countryside or just this very quaint, charming space where it's so walkable. So, our idea from the get go was to make this different than a lot of the bigger conferences that I've attended over the years, which are also great and serve a totally different purpose. But in most of those cases, you are going to one hotel and you're in a big convention room or in separate little ballrooms and breakout rooms, but you're spending the bulk of your time inside in one hotel. And the idea behind this was let's get out into Ashland. And so for the very first year, we roped in a number of restaurants and hotels and knitting shops and game shops and put together kind of a plan where readers would have an interactive mystery to solve around town, and there would be a murder mystery dinner. And that was really kind of the foundation and building block for how the festival has continued to grow now.
So it's the kind of festival which I haven't attended, sadly, but it seems like it would be the kind where people would come and come again, like it would be so much fun and that it would just kind of keep growing from there. Have you experienced that?
Yes, that's absolutely the goal. I want readers to feel like they are stepping into the pages of a cozy mystery when they come to the festival, and everything is interactive and geared for that experience. So, the first year we had readers come from all over the United States. This last year, the third year, which you just mentioned, we had readers come from over 30 states. From the UK, Canada, Argentina, Spain. And it was so incredible to see readers who maybe met a new friend at the first festival and now they're meeting up again for the third year and they're traveling from Oklahoma and Seattle or different parts of the country and spending a bookish weekend together.
Wow, that's amazing. So how did you build your team? Because obviously you had those two that started it, right?
Yeah, it's been really a labor of love with Travel Ashland. So Travel Ashland has taken the lead on all of sort of organizing the events and ticketing and fundraising because events like this obviously cost a lot of money to put on. And so building those partner relationships in Ashland because they are there and connected. And really, the goal is to bring a new type of visitor and tourist to Ashland. So, this is really a reader driven festival, unlike some other festivals that might be more writer driven. And then the first year when I had that meeting when Pam dragged me across the street and said, "Hey, we have to do this," I said it would be more fun if I was able to invite some other mystery authors too, and not just have it be about my books. So the first year, I believe we had 12 authors again, representing states all across the US, UK, and Canada. And then this year we had 17 authors attend.
Wow. So what was the size of the crowd from this last year, would you say?
We can sell a total of 300 tickets for the main package because we have grown. The first year we had events at the library. We had panels and events all throughout town, but the big panels took place at the library. But we outgrew that quickly. So this year, all of the key flagship events took place at the Ashland Armory, and that can seat 300 people. So we had 300 tickets for all of the main panels and the opening and closing receptions. But throughout the weekend, because it then attracts people from all over the Rogue Valley, you can come and just go to a mystery dinner, or you can come and solve the mystery around town, or go to one of the pop ups and meet authors who are visiting. And over the weekend, Travel Ashland estimates that we had 1,500 people come through.
That sounds amazing. I said that already, but anyway, what were, what were some of the first year challenges that you faced and um, getting it off the ground?
Well,
Mhm.
for me, I'm a writer as you are as well. Math is not necessarily my forte. I'm also not a giant fan of like working in a spreadsheet because I feel like words are my medium. But my responsibility as the festival began and now continues to grow is coming up with all of the content. So that means ideas for the panels or ideas for interesting things we could do, like author speed dating, inviting all the authors and then figuring out what all of the authors' skill sets or maybe their like hyper focus on what kind of cozy they write. So I had to come up with a master spreadsheet of all of that content and then figure out everyone's schedule because every author throughout the weekend is doing somewhere between 8 to 10 events. And it broke my brain a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's fun. So, let me just think for a second. So, how long is it? It's like a 2 day, a 3 day event, or
Yeah, the first year it started, we kicked things off Friday afternoon and ended them Sunday morning. This year, everything has kicked off Thursday evening. So there's an opening reception Thursday evening, and then full days of events Friday, Saturday, and then a closing reception on Sunday. So now it's technically 4 days, which is amazing to me.
yeah.
The other exciting thing that happened this year is that the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, which is located in Ashland, stayed open. So they had closed their season the 2 years prior before Mystery Fest, but they extended their season this year. So readers also had an opportunity to then get to go see shows and plays at OSF while they were in town for the weekend.
Oh yeah, I would say that would be a win-win type of thing. So,
Yeah.
what kind of activities do you think the people that came, like your readers, liked the best?
Ooh, okay. So my favorite thing, and I feel like this is something that I heard again and again from readers, is that every year we have had an interactive mystery. So readers have to physically go out all throughout Ashland and find clues and piece together a puzzle. And then if they get it right, they get entered to win all kinds of fun prizes at the end of the festival weekend. And I love seeing readers out and about with their tote bags and their magnifying glasses and their searching Lithia Park and they're meeting up with each other and trying to find clues. So I think that's definitely been a highlight. The first year we did a panel where authors grouped up with readers and they had to practice their tailing skills as if they were private investigators. So people were running all around town trying to shake tails or like duck into stores, change out into wigs and mustaches. It's very hands on.
That's fun. So, how did you get the idea for all this? Is it just something that came from your books? Because your books are full of that kind of small town charm and excitement that kind of goes through things.
Yes, I think definitely a combination of storytelling because I've been writing for nearly 20 years now. And so mysteries are just sort of part of the makeup of who I am. And there is something about this particular genre that's intentionally campy. They're meant to be light and fun and kind of take you away from the real world for a little while. So definitely that piece of things. And then really kind of like it's just a fantasy for me thinking about what I would have loved as a book festival, especially before I started writing. One of the other highlights is that we hire actors, local equity actors from Ashland, and every year one of the featured authors writes a murder mystery short play. And then that is performed as dinner theater every night. And so readers get to come and a real murder, well, a fictional murder, takes place during dinner and then you're part of the action. So just trying to think about ways that really engage and invite people in, and that if you're coming maybe as a solo traveler, that you're going to have opportunities to meet up with readers, that you're going to be welcomed in with a big hug, that it's not going to feel really intimidating to come if you're not with like a giant book club or a huge group of friends.
So, I'm going to get technical here. What does it cost, and what are the different levels that people could participate?
Yeah. So the first year, I'm trying to remember what tickets cost the first year. I think we charged like $38, which was to cover the fees for like the library. And then as time has gone on, this year the ticket price was $180, and that got you tickets to the opening and closing reception and all of the key panels at the armory. We did 7 flagship panels. It is not it's not a moneymaker. I don't make any money on it. All of the authors in attendance get a small $250 stipend from the library, but otherwise we're paying to travel to come to Ashland. In fact, one of the authors this year, Hannah Dennison, flew over from the UK to be part of it. So, from the author perspective, it's an opportunity, like you talked about in the opening, to really build a readership, to make those real world connections, which is the value for authors. As far as the Travel Ashland piece of things, that price point for the tickets just covers the cost of renting the armory for the weekend and the chairs and the food that they bring in then. So we try to keep the cost as low as possible. And then with the community partners, because it's so community focused, all the dinners, or there's a lovely man, Peter, who does haunted walking tours of Ashland, or OSF tickets, or the Oregon Cabaret. Those are all individual things that readers can add to their experience. And that's all through community partners. And it's not technically a ticket through the festival, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So, how do you balance being a working author? Because you're always having books come out like, I don't know, like clockwork, and then getting this, being the the big, I don't know what you call it, director, the conductor of the whole big symphony. It's like it's a huge thing. So how do you keep working on your writing and then getting this to?
Yeah, I know. That's a great question. I don't know, honestly, to tell you the truth. It's been a lot more work than I anticipated. Like if I go back to where it started, thinking like, oh, I'll put the little author schedule together. We'll spend some time figuring out the events, and then it'll kind of run itself. No, it's an ongoing process. I'm having meetings with Travel Ashland through pretty much the bulk of the year. In fact, starting next week, we're going to be working on planning for 2026. It's a really great brain break for me from writing. I think, getting some distance from writing is important so you can come back to your work with fresh eyes. So I try to balance it working on the Mystery Fest at a point in my schedule where I'm not working on a new book. But then it also, honestly, it informs my books and it kind of gives me new inspiration and breathes new excitement into my stories too, because I think like, oh gosh, I could have somebody who just, is putting on a fictional dinner theater play and then somebody really dies. And then that ended up happening in one of my series. So, I guess it's kind of self-serving in some
Oh, well, I
ways.
think it has to be. I mean, just from following you on social media, you put so much enthusiasm into the event, and that it just feels like people are very engaged, even if we can't go to it. It's like we're still part of it, which is very fun. And I would think that would also kind of expand your outreach, your book selling. Have you noticed that it has helped your books promotion and visibility?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like, I don't think I have any way to obviously like have that be a direct tracking of sales or anything like that, but certainly, like it helps get my name out there. That's one of the reasons that I really wanted to invite authors whose work I have read and loved as well. And I try to invite authors who represent a wide range of storytelling within the genre. So we have Esme Addison, who came this year, who writes mermaid mysteries from North Carolina. And then I mentioned Hannah Dennison, who writes these cozy British style mysteries. Or one of our debut authors this year, Adrian Andover, has a gay bar owner. So, like, you're getting really the gamut of storytelling. And I think that helps build my writing community as well. And then it's that idea that, like, we are sharing together all of our stories and blending some of our audiences, so a reader might come because Gigi Pondion, they love her stories, but then they get to meet 16 other new authors, including me. So it's really collaborative, I would say, on that front.
So, how are the books sold during the event? Do you have like special booths for everybody, or individual booths, or how is that done?
Yeah, so there are Ashland is a very bookish town, so there are multiple bookstores as well as Paddington Station. So Bloomsbury Books has a giant display in the windows of all of the authors' books and had an entire Mystery Fest table. Same thing for Paddington Station and the Book Exchange. So readers can pop into any of those stores, and then after all of the panels or anytime they're meeting authors, we had mystery cooking classes. So I did a recipe from one of my books, and at the end of that, readers got to come up and I could sign and personalize books. So there are books all throughout Ashland, which is really fun.
That's good. So, if someone wanted to start an event, obviously they wouldn't be going so big, but if someone wanted to, as an author, would you recommend that starting their own event is a worthwhile adventure or venture?
Yes, proceed with caution in terms of how much time it will take. Just that's my one note. Just map that into your schedule. If you think it's going to take you, 5 hours to put it together, maybe triple that. But I really think that meeting in real life, sharing space in person is there's nothing else that I personally value more. And I really believe that it is the antidote to the disconnection that I think many of us are experiencing in the broader world. That this idea that we're all coming together and spending 4 days celebrating a genre like books that we all love. Um, that was just the biggest gift and continues to be the biggest gift. The vibes, as the kids like to say, were absolutely immaculate. I mean, it was just like buzzy, warm energy all weekend long. So I think if you're a writer and you're looking for ways to really build authentic, lasting readership, it's not about those like quick, like, hey, how many hits can I get on social or can I go viral for one thing? It is about like finding ways to make real connections with readers.
Yeah. So, oh, oh gosh, I always have to happen where my brain goes smush.
I feel you.
So, but well, this is the question that I was thinking. So, have you had anybody that was a reader and that decided, oh, this is so much fun, I'm going to become a writer? Have you had that?
Yes, yes. It's so inspiring to see readers who come for the first time. And like I talked about, there are a number of mystery conferences that are designed more for the publishing side of things, where maybe you have opportunities to go and pitch agents and meet editors at publishing houses. And a lot of the workshops and panels are craft driven. And this is a reader focused conference or festival. But even with that, we always try to do 2 or 3 panels about the craft of writing. And this year, I met a reader who had gone to one of those panels last year and went home and said, you know what? I think I want to try my hand at this. And a year later, had written their first book. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I can see that. Because there's kind of this thing that you write alone, and that you're
Yeah.
kind of a, a little hobbit, or I'm watching a little kind of a little kind of person that's hidden away and popping out these books, uh, from the attic or kind of thing. So, uh, were some of the readers and authors or what kind of surprised by the wide diversity of authors? There's so many personalities. There isn't a writer personality, right? They're all over the place. Did you experience that?
Oh, yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And some writers really thrive in an environment like this. I'm very outgoing and gregarious, but what people don't believe about me is that I am actually also very introverted because I spend, like you're saying, most writers, we spend the bulk of our time in our heads with fictional characters. So we do have to pop out of our hobbit holes. So I think that's fun. And I think that's another unique thing about the Ashland Mystery Festival is that there's not a lot of differentiation between readers and authors. You're sitting next to an author for breakfast, you're bumping into authors all around town. It's not a kind of event where it's like, oh, the authors are up on stage and they're somehow untouchable. You're really immersed, so you get to build real friendships and relationships and get to know the authors on a different level that way.
Yeah, and that's why I say again, I could see authors coming back again and again because it's almost like uh, what do you call it? A plug-in, an energetic plug-in to get you kind of inspired to go back to your book and try it again, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So, what has surprised you the most about doing that? If we haven't covered that yet.
Ooh, I mean, how far people travel for sure. One of the readers who was also a writer and working on publishing her first series came from Spain, and I didn't meet her until the last day. And so, just thinking about like traveling that far for something that was just kind of this
Mm.
whim is really a delight. And then, yeah, I would say again that level of connection that I think we're all craving. I'm a hugger, and so I tended to hug a lot of readers, and that might have been too much for them. I'll have to work on that for next year. No, not really. I felt like, and the same thing, the team at Travel Ashland is absolutely incredible in terms of hospitality and welcoming and just setting that tone from the moment readers walked into the armory that they felt like I belong here.
So you say you sell 300 tickets, but it sounds to me like there was a lot more people attending than just 300.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, friends of friends and families,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me just think. So you plan to keep on doing this? Do you have any uh, brainstorm ideas for something new for next year?
I'm always thinking about new panels. I'm working on the author invites. I have a new, so every year we've improved upon the interactive mystery that readers get to solve. So the first year, my husband and I worked on it together. And then last year, we got even more businesses involved. This year, Emmeline Duncan, who is a Portland writer, took it on and she created a crime scene in the armory with evidence markers. So you had to use those initial clues to then go out in town and solve it. And so I'm working on an idea this year for 2026 where maybe maybe there's going to be something nefarious that happens at the opening reception that will kick off the crime scene for the weekend. And then the other thing that we do and that we've done every year is one of the flagship panels is building a mystery live. So readers build a mystery live with 5 authors. And then at the Saturday night dinner, we have a big sleuth dinner, or the first year it was Agatha Christie themed. The authors read the story out loud, and it is a riot. You would not believe how creative and wild this story is that people are able to put together in 1 hour of a panel. But that dinner is always themed. So I'm working on next year's theme, and I'm very excited about a couple possibilities, but I can't spill the beans yet.
Right. Well, yeah, for sure. So, let me see. I kind of have to wind it up a little bit, sadly. But what? Let's see. I'm gonna have another little brain rest here.
No worries.
Oh gosh. Do you have like a core team now that works on this? That's kind of your. I know you said that the travel people are that's kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's been lovely too because it's been the same core team, and then that team has been expanding through Travel Ashland. So this year, we had Catherine, who is the director of Travel Ashland, and we had a woman named Anna Byers who came in and did event management, and then Bonnie and Dina and Sam and and Katie ran their social media. So it's a lot of interactiveness from that team as well as also volunteers. We had a whole team of volunteers and our volunteer needs are growing as the festival has grown too, which is I'm so thankful for people locally who've come out and helped, run panels and manage the cooking classes and things that we couldn't do without volunteer help.
Oh yeah, that would have been I'm running out of time, but that would have been a great question to go in further. So let's kind of end it with let people know how they could get in touch with the Ashland Mystery Fest.
Yes. If you are interested in attending or you want to learn more information about the Ashland Mystery Fest, you can go to travelashland.org and all the information and links to this year's as well as news about 2026 is there on their website.
Oh, great. So thanks, Ellie, for coming and sharing this. I think it's been a very fun interview. And I think it's inspiring for anyone, even if they can't attend, just to be kind of a part of it virtually, because I know that you share a lot about it online. So thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So that ends my wonderful conversation with Ellie Alexander. She took us behind the scenes of the Ashland Mystery Fest. Amazing how a simple idea, sparked by reader curiosity, had grown into a 4-day celebration that now draws mystery lovers from across the world. For listeners who want to experience the charm of Ashland and meet their favorite cozy authors, you can find all the details and upcoming dates at travelashland.org. And that's it for today's episode of Northwest Book Talk, where we celebrate the stories behind the stories. I'm Patty Grasher. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep turning those pages and supporting local authors.